Okay, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's Palm Sunday. And this is your little palm. Okay, so when I was creating this, when I was cutting it out at home, I'm drawing it and cutting it out. My husband comes in and he says, "Why are you making Christmas trees in the middle of March?" And I'm like, "It doesn't look like a Christmas tree, does it? It looks like a Christmas tree." So I'm like, turn it upside down, it's a palm. Yeah, there we go. So hold on to that because we will be doing a little exercise with that in a little bit. So on Palm Sunday, as Pat already shared, this traditional story has it that Jesus enters Jerusalem riding on a donkey, the donkey that he has requested, right? And the crowd is gathering and they're waving their palms, shouting Hosanna, which literally means please save me. And then they lay the palms down, on the ground for Yeshua to ride into Jerusalem on the back of a donkey. So here in Unity, we look at biblical stories metaphorically, metaphysically. So from that perspective, this whole idea of this story, this event, is not something that happened long ago. It, for us, is about consciousness. It's always about shifting and opening consciousness. And this in particular is helping us to enter a new consciousness, a consciousness of activated hope. Now, hope is something that we could all use a little more of today, right? So let's look at this and see how it can work for us when we talk about activated hope. Because when we think of hope, hope by itself, we generally think of something that is a little weak. It's pretty weak. It's kind of like wishful thinking, right? Oh, I hope things get better. Oh, I hope this thing works out. Oh, I hope we reach our fundraising goal. I hope the wars in the Middle East will end soon. So it feels kind of powerless, like, wishful thinking, right? But activated hope is really something different. Because activated hope requires a combination of specific qualities to achieve. So let's go back to the original story of the palms and the idea that, Charles Fillmore, who was the co-founder of Unity, saw it as let's see, and I think I have a slide for that. He said it's the physical representation of unlimited resource of strength. The palm is the physical representation of an unlimited source of strength. So you're not wrong, Chris, because strength is part of this whole thing. Strength is the power. No, yeah, right. Strength is the power that we have been focusing on all month, right? Particularly in conjunction with the Brené Brown study, courage and bravery, braving the wilderness. And so I don't know if you've noticed, but this year we're actually taking each one of the 12 powers and focusing on it each month. So do you remember the power that we were focusing on the month of February? Love. February is the month of love. Yeah. And January, do you remember? It's faith. The power of faith, because we were talking about vision and possibility. So we're talking about the power of faith, right? Okay. So activated hope requires this exact combination of powers. When we flex and exercise these spiritual muscles of faith and love and strength, we have activated faith. We have activated faith. And so that really helps us. And the next slide, it gives hope a backbone, grounds it firmly in the soil of faith, and sends it off on the wings with the power of love. Right? This is activated hope. Activated hope. And so let's look at each of these powers a little more fully to see what we're really talking about. So the power of faith is the power to recognize that a joyous, fulfilling, meaningful, and abundant life is our true nature. That is our true divine nature. I mean, if there is only one power and presence in the universe, whose center is everywhere and whose circumference is nowhere, and if we are created in the image and likeness, in other words, if we are expressions of that one divine light, then all of what God is, all of what it is, we are. All of those qualities that are true of the universe are true of us right now. Not when we become spiritual masters, but right now, this is the truth of all of us. Now, I know it's easier to know that when we're sitting in a beautiful vibration in this collective positive energy here on Sunday, right? Or maybe when we're having a lovely lunch with a good friend, or we're walking in the woods this time of year on a beautiful day with the leaves, those bright green leaves that are just blossoming, and the fragrance of the flowers. It's easier to know your oneness with the whole. But can you know it in the midst of an argument? Can you know it when your bank account balance is low and the price of everything is going higher? Can you know it when your children are in trouble? Can you know it if your doctor gives you a challenging diagnosis? Can you know it, if you're paying attention to what's happening in the world? Or do we stay gripped with fear and a feeling of powerlessness? Well, this is where the power of faith comes in. This is when we want to exercise that power of faith that helps us to see beyond, see it from a higher perspective, see the temporary situation from a higher perspective so that we don't get trapped into a temporary condition, and that we can see, step back and see a larger vision of it. So Charles Fillmore, these 12 powers, for those of you who may be new, they are basically centers, specific qualities of our spiritual growth, and kind of like chakras, they correlate to different areas of our physical body. So the power of faith, he has located in the center of our brain, in that specifically the pineal gland, which is tiny. But a lot of ancient wisdom traditions have thought that that's our connection, our mystical connection with the whole. So, right, that sort of tracks. And so, when we exercise that power of faith, that helps us realign ourselves with what we know, with the spiritual truth of ourself. And it helps us to see beyond the appearance of lack, limitation, difficulty, and then we can lay hold of a divine idea. We can see it, we can feel it, we can embrace this divine idea even if we don't see any evidence of it in the world. The only evidence is the one inside of us, in our inner mind. The assurance of things hoped for. the evidence of things not seen. That's where it is, right? And it's kind of like the birds who sing before dawn. You know, when they switched the time so that, we've sprung forward. Those of us who get up early, it's like you're getting up it feels like the middle of the night. It's still dark. In the beginning, it didn't get light until 7:30. So if you get up at 6, you got a good hour or so where it's still dark. And invariably, I would get up and I hear the birds singing. And I think, wait a second, for you, you're not looking at a clock. For you, it probably feels like the middle of the night. And I feel like the birds are saying to me, oh, you don't know. I know. Dawn is right around the corner. Dawn is just a breath away. So that's the consciousness that we want to enter. Singing and celebrating, right? Singing and celebrating before we actually see it manifest. That's the consciousness that we're talking about. All right, so now here's the part of the exercise. Everybody has a palm front, and so on your palm front, and if you don't, raise your hand. And then you should have a pen in the seat back in front of you. So on the right-hand side, this right branch that comes out, we're going to write the word faith on it. On that side. And on the opposite side, we're going to say a little thing of what faith is. So to remind us, to see beyond appearances. To see beyond appearances. Right, okay. It's also, you won't be able to read my writing, so it is up on the screen there. Okay, so on the bottom here, at the base, right, the base of this, we have faith, see beyond appearances. Okay. Now, in February, again, we explored the power of love. Not the emotion of love, the power, the energy, that ultimate power of love from which all things are created. Like all of creation is created out of and by love. It is the essence of everything. It is the essence of all of us. The essence of all of us is love. And when we are in the energy of love, when we are doing something that we love, we tend to be pretty good at it because we're bringing ourselves into vibrational alignment with it, right? So one of the aspects of love is a power to magnetize. It is the drawing power of our energy field. It's the drawing power of our energy field. So when we open to that power of love that is already within us, and we feel it and we sense it, we get into the feeling tone of it, and then from that place, we see our vision. We imagine our vision. We are literally drawing it to us because we become aligned with it. We come into vibrational alignment with it. This is how that magnetizing power of love works. All right, so on your second tier up, write the word love. And on the left, magnetizing vibration. Okay. And now this month, we're focused on the power of strength, which is the power to accomplish, to hold fast to our vision, to do what you say you'll do. Remember, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that strength is that power that we exercise to do what we say we'll do, to follow through, to step out into action boldly, bravely, right? To follow through, to persist until the good is realized. That's our power of strength. Okay, so what are we writing on the third level? Strength. All right. Strength. Take action, persist. To persist. Okay. So when you put all of these powers together, right, you realize that activated hope is not wishing. It's not waiting. It is consciously co-creating. It's not wishing, it's consciously co-creating. We are giving birth to that higher possibility that is seeking to emerge through and as us from this fertile ground that has been fortified by these powers of faith and love and strength. Dynamic powers, right? It's being fortified with this, and therefore it can begin to grow. So that allows us, activated faith, let's go to the next one, helps us to move from a sort of, I wish, right? I wish, to I am anchored in faith. I can see beyond current circumstances. I see my good realized. It helps us to move from this kind of feeling of maybe, an attitude of, well, maybe, to, oh, the power of love draws my good to me because I'm in alignment with it. It helps us move from someday my prince will come, right? To centered in strength, I step into action today. Centered in strength, I step into action today. Okay, so now on your palm frond, you see the center that goes up to the top frond. On this part right here, and you might want to turn it to the side to write on it like this, I want you to write your highest vision, your heart's desire. Again, what is calling you? What is calling to emerge through and as you in this season? What higher expression of life do you truly desire? So take a moment to think about that and write it in this space. And now this is for you. I just want to be clear. This is for you. Next week, we're going to come together and learn how all of these pieces work together on a more universal level. But this is for you. And you know what? You're important. So this is for you. So we're writing that right there. Take another moment and finish up what you're writing there. So again, look at this whole thing together. So do you see how your vision, what you've written here, your highest desire, which you may have previously thought of as a wish, can now be realized because it is supported by these dynamic powers of faith, love, and strength. And if you want to close your eyes for a minute and just feel and think and get a sense of how that can be, bring to mind right now the thing that you're focused on. See it in your mind's eye and ask yourself, how does the power of faith support my vision? How does the power of love support the realization of this heart's desire? How can I put that to use? How does the power of strength support the realization? Remember, to persist, to take action. How, in what way is that supporting the realization of this? All right. We're going to do a little exercise with this so you can see kind of how it works in a specific example at a different part of the service. Okay, so this really is the foundation for all of our dreams, personal or collective, whether we have realized it or not. So let's realize it. Let's become conscious, right? So we can do it consciously. And then this, metaphorically, is the foundation that we lay down in order for our highest possibility to grow, in order for that divine idea to grow, to walk humbly upon, as Pat was also sharing in the meditation. This idea of humility, is definitely part of that story. He chose to ride in on a donkey, rather than a war horse, basically with a message of, I'm not here to be a king. I'm not here to be the warrior to save you from the Romans. I am here as a humble servant. So again, as we interpret that for us, where does that humility come in this practice, right? So that consciousness, a shift in consciousness. So rather than the ego-based, look what I can manifest, look what I can manipulate in the world to get what I want, it's more of hey, I'm noticing that this works when I bring myself into spiritual alignment. And I work with these tools that we all have. These tools that we all have. When I work with them, I notice it works. I notice that this is how the world works. And I am learning to be in harmony with it, to work in harmony with it. And I want to share that, right? I want to share the good. I want to share that. Let's all, in fact, do it. Because honestly, a world comprised of fulfilled, joyous, loving, peaceful people create a world that is joyous, loving, and peaceful, right? So we share these ideas too. We share the good. Okay, so keep this as a visual aid and refer to it often. what it takes, right? This is what it takes, and practice it. We work with it. We practice it over and over. It definitely is a practice. So, okay, so this is our affirmation. I think at the end here, let's just take a moment and look at that. Take a deep breath, and together, I activate hope through my combined powers of faith, love, and strength. And so it is. All right. Hi, it's Reverend Victoria here. I'm at Unity Center of Peace with our house band, Bright Matter.
Hello.
Yeah, and if this video has inspired you or empowered you or opened your heart, opened your consciousness, or even just given you hope, we ask that you support what we're doing here by making a donation today, going to unitychapelhill.org or clicking the link below. And we thank you.
Thank
you.